Hi, I'm Leticia Barosa, and I will be doing my family tree on my immediate family, such as my parents, my siblings' spouses, and their kids, including my nieces and nephews. Okay, hi, this is my immediate family tree. You cannot see it, but I have an older brother and my sister's spouse who are cut off from this image, but I'm pretty sure they'll show up later. But this is my immediate family of 15 people, 6 of them being kids. We have my mom and my dad at the top, my oldest sister Gris, my second oldest sister Patty, my older brother Alex, and then me. My siblings and I have a big age gap between us, such as my oldest sister being 18 years older than me, and my second oldest sister being 16 years older than me. So they already have family and kids. My oldest sister Gris has 2 kids, and my second oldest sister, she has 5 kids, 3 of them being triplets. Her oldest son, my nephew, is only 4 years younger than me, and her youngest child is 3 years old. Then we have my brother. He has no kids, and then me, I have no kids. The culture in my family is definitely Mexican culture. We participate in making ofrendas for Dia de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead. Growing up in school and at home, I'd always make ofrendas, especially since seeing the movie Coco. My family and I view it as a big part of Mexican culture and participate in doing it each year. In the first image on the left is a woman dancing. It's something that my mom made me participate in, especially growing up, where we would dance to traditional Mexican music and do traditional dances. I would say cascarones are another big part of my Mexican culture for parties and events such as Easter. We fill eggshells with confetti or flour and crack them on each other's head. And lastly, Mexican food is another part of my culture, such as tacos, tamales, menudo. Even on Thanksgiving and Christmas, instead of doing traditional American meals, we use Mexican food instead. Hi, so the ethnicity in my family is Hispanic and Latino. My mom and my dad both come from Mexico, my dad being from Apatzingán, Michoacán, and my mom being from Moroleón, Guanajuato. So growing up in my household, the main language that we used was Spanish. My siblings and I grew up with Spanish being our native language. Because my mom and my dad didn't know English, but when my brother and I started going to school in like the early 2000s, that's when my mom started to wanting to learn English. My nieces and nephews don't really know Spanish, or they're trying to learn Spanish, but they're not really bilingual or fluent yet, but they're learning. But the main language in my household currently is Spanish because my dad does not know English. So in my family, we were all raised Catholic. Some of us still are. Others aren't practicing anymore, but in our household, we grew up going to church, baptisms, communions, Ash Wednesdays. In my extended family, we have priests. In my house, we have crosses and pictures hanged of the Virgin Mary, as well as having our house blessed by my cousin who is a priest. We also have crosses in our cars and in our bedrooms. Religion plays a big part in my family. So special needs in my family include one of my nieces having autism and my brother having dyslexia. Growing up in a Mexican family, this did make this topic of special needs or disabilities kind of taboo because being special needs or having a disability isn't really talked about in Mexico. And so it took my parents a very long time to accept that my brother had dyslexia and to accept help for him. The same goes for my niece having autism. My parents didn't really know what it was. My sister didn't want to accept it as well. It's because we grew up with like special needs being viewed as a bad thing, when in reality it's not. You're just not educated about it. But when my family did get educated about it, we realized that there are help, like support, such as having an IEP, going to special education, where my brother started like really liking going back to school, and my niece now has the support that she needs. The main funds of knowledge and the important one growing up is agriculture, where my dad has been working in the field since he was 8 years old. He's now a truck driver, but he still participates in helping in the fields. And he kind of implemented in me and my siblings of how important agriculture is, especially since we have a backyard. He taught us how to use the different types of plants, different types of produce, the different seasons, how much water each plant needs, the different needs of each plant and produce, how to take care of them, how to properly store produce, and also agriculture also taught us about the history of agriculture, such as important figures such as Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta. He kind of taught us the background of just Mexican Americans fighting for better rights in the fields. So the socioeconomic background, education, and structure in my family is that in my immediate and extended family, I am the only one who has ever pursued a higher education, such as going to college. A lot of members of my family don't have their high school education. My dad doesn't even have his elementary school education. He stopped around, I would say, when he was 8 years old. So growing up, my parents were both lower class, but when they came to America, they started making better wages, and so they are now middle class.